I am here with musician and life coach Brian Falduto. Thank you so much for meeting up with me.
Of course.
Talk a little bit about your journey. I know you were an actor, then you broke into music as well, and are also a life coach. So you want to go in that order? When did you first decide you wanted to be an entertainer? Let's put it that way.
Oh, I just demanded my parents get me opportunities to do that. I was the loudest kid in my children's church choir, and I remember being told that I was great because of that, and I was like, I enjoy this recognition.
Yeah, I'm here for it, right?
Yeah, so that was like the first taste of attention, and then I just craved it so much that my parents got me a manager. I did a lot of stuff in middle school, most notably being School of Rock, and then I just had like a normal high school experience. Went to college for theater, broke into music while working in radio. So I do music mainly. I still act. I just wrapped a web series, but it's not really the bulk of my time right now. Music is the bulk of my time.
When you were in School of Rock and you were just a kid, what was that experience like for you? I know, School of Rock was a relatively big movie.
Yeah.
And you were going to school and being like, oh, people recognizing you, just your own classmates. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah. Well, I'll never forget the first time I was like recognized in the public. I was at a water park, and some kid came up to me while I was like getting my flip flops out of the locker, and was like, "Were you in a movie?" And it had like just come out like that weekend, and I was like, "Yeah!" I was so excited.
Way before the selfie age, though.
Before the selfie age, yeah.
Well, not way before. I mean, a regular camera.
On a disposable camera. Yeah.
Kids, a camera is actually something that takes photos, and you have to get it developed. For those who are watching and don't know what a camera is.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was weird, obviously, going to school at the same time, but I loved the experience. They took such good care of us, and we had such a good on-set family. It felt like, it just felt like an incredible opportunity.
Did you fall out of love with it? Is that why you decided to go to regular high school, or did you just decide, I want to be a normal kid?
No, my parents actually made that decision for me.
Oh, that was nice.
Which I was mad about at the time, but I think it was for the best.
Yeah.
I kind of just got to do like the normal high school thing. And then, I had college to choose to pursue it again. So, and it was probably for the best too, because I wasn't, I had School of Rock happen, and then I was just constantly chasing this idea of success rather than just like actually being talented. And so I needed to go to college and kind of like find my footing again, and like, what am I good at,
When did you decide to switch it over to music?
Well, I was working in country music radio at the time. I was actually just talking about this with a friend yesterday, and it was like, I quit radio to become an artist, but for a while, I was just like, I will perform in any capacity people will have me. So I was like taking dance classes and voice lessons and auditioning and submitting for agents and like literally everything. And I was like tearing myself in all these different directions. And I didn't really have anything that was like my niche. But country music radio kind of led me to country music, which I kind of fell in love with while I was working there. And I don't know, I just started writing. I went through a tough breakup at the time, and I started writing country music breakup songs. And it was just
Aren't they? Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Did you write it from a perspective of being a gay man, or did you just
in
in
general?
general?
It was just an outlet, and I wasn't even planning on sharing my songs with anyone. And then eventually I did, and then so like I had been an artist my whole life, or like I had always been performing, but it was more so just like performing to perform. The attention that I said I craved since children's choir, but writing a song was the first time where I actually like took something that I like wanted to say and put it into something, and then that connection that you get with someone when they relate to something that you wrote is was a whole new experience for me, and it was also. It was such an addictive experience that it was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to actually like connect with people through art, not just perform to perform.
And now I don't want to jump into this right this second, but the question came to my mind. Did that connection tie into you becoming a life coach at the end of the day?
Yeah, because I feel like we're missing some steps here, but I think the general summary is like...
Yeah, that's why I only want to, that's why I just wanted to ask. And then
No, yeah, I mean, once I realized that connection is what I'm after,
Mhm.
I had to be like, okay, well, like, who are these people connecting with?
Right.
And for so long, I didn't really know who I was, right? Because, like, so many people had been telling me who I was because I was a child actor, and, like, I always went into situations with a preconceived notion of who I was. And so I was like, well, so who am I that people are connecting with? Who am
Right.
I? Which led me to, like, a really cool journey with myself where I was like, I don't really know who I am, which was kind of, like, sad to realize, and also, like, finding myself. I took a couple of wrong turns that eventually, like, led to the right questions. And that process for me was also so addictive. This process of just, like, finding yourself and loving who you truly are and bringing that to your artistry was such an addictive process to me that I was like, well, that's what I want to do my whole life. So connection, and also, like, helping people connect, which can only come through an authentic understanding of yourself, in my opinion.
Do you feel that you had it, I don't want to say twice as hard, but you were being labeled, oh, are you the actor, are you a musician, but you're also, are you a gay man, are you a straight man, are you this, where am I going to fit in? You know, there's not a lot of gay country artists. I mean, Ty Herndon is the only one that comes to mind right now for me, who I also interviewed and is a lovely human being. But anyway, was it harder for you because you were trying to identify your professional and your personal?
Yeah, yes, because who was I? A lot of that question had to do with me being gay, and I was kind of like, well, running away from that for so long, and then also, like, starting to wear it on my sleeve, but like not really in an authentic way, more so just I think that a lot of, getting a little coachy, but when a lot of
Don't charge me for this.
when a lot of gay guys come out of the closet, I think that there's this overcompensating period of time for, like, all of the years that you spent in the closet.
Yes,
And
agreed.
so that was still just very much me performing to perform, right? But just in a personal context, just trying to blend in with a community I had never been part of, really.
Do you feel being labeled, quote unquote, the gay kid in School of Rock was detrimental to you, or?
Detrimental is a strong word.
Yeah, it is a strong word, but
Um,
more so in the fact of, at that age, do you know that you're gay at that point? And people are like, oh, you're the gay kid from School of Rock.
I mean, I view it as the biggest blessing to this day, right?
Yeah.
'Cause sure, it led to 15 years of, like, running from who I was and running from people I could have connected with, but I think that the backlash of that was so strong that it led me to becoming a life coach. So now all I do is connect with people on an authentic level,
Right.
and, like, help them be who they truly are. So I don't think that I would have the passion that I have if I hadn't, like, been so whipped in the face with, like, hide who you are at a young age, you know?
Yeah, and you're not so old that it's cliche now. Like, being gay now is not the biggest deal that it was
No,
back
no.
when you were. But when you were growing up, it was
Well, I
still.
was one of, like, there was, like, a handful of
Yeah, it was still
LGBTQ
sort of stigmatized at that point.
referencing characters in media, and I was, like, part of that small clump, and I
Yeah.
was, like, 11, and I was like, I don't want this, too
I
much
know.
responsibility.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. I was the same way. It's like, where am I going to find a job knowing all this useful, like, gay person
Yeah.
information? Which is probably a stupid way to phrase it, but that's how it came out. So
Yeah.
so deal with it. So, what made you, since you were in the country genre because of radio, did you have any sort of aspiration to write non-country, or was that your focus because that was the industry and the genre that you were in at the time?
If I'm being completely honest, I didn't really admit that my music was country music until, like, a year ago, because it's very melody driven, it's story driven, it's really just singer-songwritery stuff, and, like, often, like, we'll jazz it up, or we'll pop it up, or we'll rock it up. Like, there's a lot of different directions it can go in, because really it's just melody, lyric driven. At the core of it, though, it's what you're hearing on country music these days. So I
Right.
think I was just like, cool. And then also, like, I've started writing from an authentic place as a gay man, and I think country music needs that. So I was like, sure, let's call it country music, and let's bring this to the table.
What sort of backlash did you face in the country scene because of the fact that there are very few openly gay performers and songwriters? I would assume are probably even less common, right?
Yeah, well, there's this cool thing going on where there's, like, new routes, right? So, like, I got to perform at a bunch of Pride festivals this year, on, like, a little Pride tour, because I feel like they were into the idea of the words gay country, right? Because that's not a thing.
Yeah,
So
it's
they were
not-
like,
yeah.
let's get a gay country artist on the
Right.
lineup, right? So, like, it's creating avenues in different areas. Like, will I be performing on the CMA Awards anytime soon? I'm not sure. I mean, Brandy Carlisle just did last
Right.
week or 2 weeks ago. So, like, things are changing very slowly, but
I'm going to tread very carefully with this question because I want it to come out authentically how I mean it and how I want to ask it. Did you, because the base of country music is down south, did you feel an extra pressure as a gay person that you were going to be looked upon unfavorably because of their beliefs that people are obviously coming around, but did that affect you in any way, negative or positive?
Not since I've kind of felt this, like, I've done so much work on loving myself that I think people could throw a lot at me, and I don't think it would affect too much of what I'm doing right now. Fortunately, I feel very fortunate in that statement because that's never been the case.
Right.
But and I haven't spent that much time in the actual South, so I don't know.
You're not authentic then, damn it. Take the country label off.
But that's a good question, I think. I also think it's a blessing, right? Because as much as there's a negative attention, that just means that that's surrounding someone who needs to hear this more than anything else, right? So it's like everything, like maybe surface level, there's all these people who don't like what I'm doing, but like that just means that there's someone in the heart of all that who really needs to hear what I'm doing.
To hear it, yeah, absolutely. That's the most important part, and I would think that's probably the primary reason you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I have a song coming out in the new year that I think is going to be important.
Good. Well, that's what people need to open their ears and shut their mouths. Listen and like take in what other people go through. For your music personally, when you're performing it, do you feel more of a connection to the audience than getting, this sounds dumb, but like you have a big social media presence. So I'm sure you get comments there. Does it affect you more in person, or is it kind of equal to what you get messages online?
It depends. Like, I'll get some DMs that I'm just like, whoa, this turned my day around. This is the nicest thing I've ever heard. But like also, no, I mean, performing live is such a rush. I love it. I just had a huge concert on Tuesday.
At Green Room.
Yeah, Green Room 42.
Yep.
It's just so fun. I don't, and like that's what I became addicted to when I first started doing it. This whole idea of sharing a song with someone coming up after and being like, oh my God, I can't believe you wrote that down. I've been feeling the same way. And that's the point of art, right? So.
Absolutely. I've been chatting a lot about this with the actors that I interview about representation for minorities and all that. And we talk about the fact that it would just be nice that you could be Brian Falduto, not gay country musician Brian Falduto. Like, do you feel we're coming to a point where you don't have to put that in front of it because people will know who you are and that it's not important?
I love that.
And I don't mean not important in terms of what you're doing is very important because you're representing the gay community in a very positive way. I mean just that you are a person and being gay is not a big deal.
Yeah. No, I love that question. I think that the reason I'm like right now with it, like putting it out there so much is like just because I've always been the gay kid from School of Rock, and I literally hid from that for like 15 years. Every time it was brought up, I didn't even want to talk about it. So for me, it's kind of like being able to champion this word gay as part of what I'm doing is like exciting for me because I'm like, now I love that that's what I am, and so much of what I do is based around my role in the community, I feel like. So it's like, so I feel like there's a lot of like positives to saying like gay country artist, but at the same time, like, yes, I should just be able to be like country artist.
Agreed.
Falduto. So it's like,
and I was certainly not taking away from that label.
No.
I was just,
No, but it's a very good question because we shouldn't even have to say that, right?
Right.
I just think it's the way you look at it because, like, agreed. I want to be able to just say I'm Brian Falduto, the country singer. But also, like, country music doesn't have a lot of gay singers right now, so...
Right. Well, because you don't say...
From a marketing standpoint, it's smart.
Right. Because when you watch a movie or watch a television show, unless it's made a big deal of, you don't say, oh, there's African-American Viola Davis.
Right.
You watch her as Annalise Keating, and you see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not... It should just be musician Brian Falduto. One thing... while important personally, shouldn't be made such a big... Yeah. So do you wrestle with that?
I do wrestle with it.
Yeah.
I think right now I'm just enjoying the idea of the word gay country because it's like not been a thing. So it's like, let's throw around this new idea for a while.
Do you feel a
While it's
responsibility
fresh.
though because of that? I mean, I know you're a life coach, so it's a little harder to ask these questions because you're coming from a very professional point of view as well, in terms of really connecting with people
Yeah.
on a personal level, which is what music does as well. But like, there's really a deeper connection even than that for you in your life coaching, I would guess.
Yeah.
And do you think that because you were a songwriter that helped you with the life coaching?
Yes. I mean, I recently started coaching in like a new category of what I do, which I'm actually have to remain pretty anonymous about, but it's a lot of just like meeting people where they're at. And one of the questions that was posed to me when I was like becoming part of this network was, are you able to like check your emotions at the door or call on them when you need to meet with someone? And I was like, yeah, I'm an artist. That's like literally what I do. I was like, I can bring an emotion up when I need it, and I can like leave it at the door when I don't need it. And I was like, yeah, I have a very healthy stock of my emotions. I feel like I owe you an answer on the whole gay country thing, but yeah, I mean, I'm really just having fun with the term right now.
It's and you should like
Yeah.
it's not. It wasn't meant as a like you were doing a
No.
bad thing. It was just meant as
I agree
it would
with
be
you.
great if there was inclusivity for everyone, and it wasn't. You didn't have to be pigeonholed, not pigeonholed, but you didn't have to come before Brian Falduto
Yeah.
or Viola Davis or whomever we're speaking of.
I 100% agree with you, and I really hope that's the case. I think right now it's not the case, and so like it's almost like let's give them it until they ask for it, you know. And it's like also again like by pegging myself as that, I'm targeting the niche that needs to hear me. I feel like.
Absolutely. And has your life coaching, because you've been exposed to a lot of different people, has that helped your writing in any way? Has it given you a lot more material? And do you feel like if you write about someone that you might be betraying their trust that they put in you?
Yeah, I've never written a song about a client, so everyone rest easy. All my clients.
Yeah, they're all like, wait, shit, is that about me?
No. All of my stories, this is a great question, I think, too, because I actually do only write from personal experience. Like, I have one or two songs that are, like, a bit advocate-y, meaning, like, I'm calling for, like, something to happen, but that's only because I've, like, really experienced what I feel like is both sides of the issue, and, like, I'm able to tell the story from like a very personal standpoint.
Right.
I only write from my own experience. I actually think it's really hypocritical of artists to sometimes talk about experiences that they haven't experienced. So
You need to calm down.
I never
Hashtag next.
I was like, I missed that, but I gotta. Yeah, I mean, I only write from because I don't. Just with my coaching, same with my coaching. I never pitch myself as an expert on anything. I mean, all of my life has just been constantly proving myself wrong, one thing after another, and there's been such beauty in that. So I think that it would be so ridiculous of me to suddenly stand up and be like, I have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I have stories, and if you want to learn from them, great. If you don't, they're not your story. Fine.
Yeah, as a gay man who suffers from PTSD and who's had quite a checkered past, do you worry, or has it ever happened where someone you have been life coaching has had an attachment that ended up not crossing a boundary into like sexual harassment, but just an intimacy that you weren't expecting because of the heavy nature of what you guys talk about?
That's a great question. I have in my agreement, I've coached through the International Coach Federation. I'm certified, so we have like a conflict of interest clause. So I always look out for that. I have turned away some people who I was just like, I don't think that this is like gonna be the best match. It is an intimate thing, and it's a very vulnerable thing. All my current clients, I feel like we have very healthy boundaries, and
Well, that's important because they're coming for you for coaching, and they're already kind of sheltered and not feeling great about themselves, and like are looking to you for the support and to be like a mentor and that kind of thing. But you also have to be careful that the switch doesn't get turned on of, oh, well, this person's doing so much for me. It's got to be challenging.
It's definitely challenging, but I mean, I just feel like it comes with me training, and that I just set up boundaries at the start with an agreement. We have limitations on actually how much we talk, because I don't want to become a dependent thing for anyone. So it's it's all just a matter of managing expectations.
Yeah. Would a life coach be, this may not be a fair comparison for somebody, comparing somebody who's gay to somebody who has an addiction, but would you be like a sponsor for someone who's gay? Is that kind of what the role would be as a life coach? Or because gay is not an addiction.
Right. No, I get your
Like
question.
okay, as long as you're glad you're understanding what I mean.
Yeah. No, I actually don't do that much. They have the answers inside of them, is what I really believe, and I don't have the answers. It's just about asking the right questions, pressing on the right triggers, moving aside the right branches of like whatever bush they're currently stuck inside. You know, it's like, it's just, and they have the answers already. They just don't know it. It's hard to see your own shit when you're in your own shit.
So you're more about unlocking what they already know?
Yeah. I don't really give advice. People are always very disappointed when they come to coaching and they think I'm just going to be like 1, 2, 3, you're out. That's not what it is. It's more just a partnership. I learn a lot from them.
Would you think that's the biggest misperception about being a life coach, is that you're a therapist?
I just had a new client today, and she was like, I can't tell too much obviously, but she was like so ready for, she wants to get her life in order, and I'm going to be the one to do that. And I was like, that's all you.
Well, yeah, you got to get your life in order. I'll be here to guide you a little bit, but I think people like to blame somebody. So like if she doesn't do it, you know whose fault it is. It's going to be yours. I will admit to being that way in my past. Never, not now. What do you find the most challenging between the balance of being a life coach and also being a musician? And how do you balance, like, okay, I'm giving 60% to one today, 40 to the other. Today it's got to be 100% music, and the life coaching kind of has to go in the back pocket for today.
I love all your questions, actually.
Thank you.
They're really cool. They make me think about things.
The Barbara Walters of the basement.
Because I had a concert Tuesday, and I'm an artist, and when I got up there, one of my clients came to the show, and for example, I'm in an acting studio, and I know of a client who also goes to the same acting studio that I go to. So it's like I'm running, my circles are blending sometimes.
Right.
And when I'm on stage, I'm telling really vulnerable stories and not really pitching myself as anyone who has their shit together, because I'm trying to meet people where they're at with songs, and these songs were not written from a place of like, oh, I have everything figured out. They were written from a place of, I need to get this onto paper or else it's gonna like consume me.
Right.
So it's like, it's a weird balance, but I think it all starts again from just managing expectations. In my first calls with everyone, I'm always like, I don't have answers. I'm not pitching myself as like someone who has it figured out. I just have like the skills necessary to like help you, walk with you through your journey.
Right.
And help you figure things out.
Do you almost wish your clients would not come to the show?
No, I don't.
And I don't mean that's like take a ticket sale away from you. But if you're out there, obviously I've never been to a life coaching session with you.
Yeah.
Do you share your journey as well, or are you specifically guiding
when I'm coaching
them and theirs when you're coaching?
I very rarely submit a personal story to the conversation.
So that's got to be different for them when they come to see your show and they're like, oh shit, this is all him now. He's putting this out there. And
but I think if anything, that should be good for them to see that I'm a human and that I'm overcoming things. I mean, it's not.
Do you have to watch though, because it's like, oh, come back to bite you in the ass if you say something in one of your songs or in your show, and then you like kind of check somebody in a session, and it's like, wait, I just went to your show and you kind of flopped on that. Have you ever gotten bitten in the ass by it?
I have not yet. So
good.
We'll see.
Hopefully, I didn't put it out into the internet or the ether, whatever you call it. I was just asking.
I love that question though. I don't. It hasn't been an issue thus far, but it is an awkward line.
The responsibility that you have as someone who is a country artist, an artist in general, and a life coach, does that ever get too much for you? Do you ever have to step back and just be like, I need a day for Brian, not about music, not about life coaching, I'm spent. I just need a decompression mental health day.
Yeah, no, I mean, I recently read a book. I highly recommend it for any coaches out there. It's called Who the Fuck Am I to Be a Coach? Mm-hmm. That's an amazing book. And there's this whole chapter on, it was such an awesome chapter. It was such an empowering chapter, a freeing chapter, because I already do this, and I learned it a bit in my training, but I just loved reading it. It's basically like my job every day is to be as fulfilled a person as I possibly can be, so that I can bring my energy to you at all times.
Right, because if you're not taking care of yourself, how are you
Yeah.
going to take care of somebody else?
It's all about that full cup. And
Yeah.
so yeah, my self-care rituals are ridiculous. And I'm constantly probably over taking care of myself. So
That's no such thing.
there isn't no such thing, but I definitely indulge. I definitely like take a day off if I need it. I do. I just think I'm very much a subscriber to like, we don't even know if we're going to get tomorrow, so why wouldn't you just make sure you're happy today?
Right. And we kind of just touched on this a little bit. You're not a therapist.
No.
So what if someone comes to you that's severely depressed, or like the issues that they need coaching on are affecting them so much mentally
Yeah.
that your services are not going to be enough at that point? Have you had to refer people to actually go to therapy, and like when do you judge that?
Many times.
Yeah. And
I'd say,
what's
like,
the
half
tipping
people
point?
Who come to me, I direct somewhere else.
Is that hard for you? Because do you feel like you're passing them over to somebody else to help, or do you feel like I've done my part of what I'm qualified to do? You need to now step into a higher level of care.
I think it would be super contradictory of me to try and help them if I know I'm not equipped.
Right.
So I'm not a mental health professional. And there's so many amazing resources out there. Sometimes even just a conversation with me about resources could be like life-changing.
Right.
So I just try and meet them where they're at, and I'm like, here are some options for you. Because that's the thing, people just don't know about options. I know before I even took that first step towards loving myself,
Right.
I felt like I was never going to be happy. And now happiness is like a daily option for me.
Right.
And it's just a matter of like, how do you go about that?
I think your role as a life coach and other people's roles as a life coach, and I'm speaking as someone who never went to one, but has had traumatic experience that have led to depression and inpatient hospital stays. Do you feel if people saw life coaches that maybe they would be a little bit better equipped to not let it get to the stage where they had to be hospitalized?
Or therapists, I think, here's the thing. I just think everyone needs to do whatever they need to do. I don't think life coaching is the solution for everyone. I don't think therapy is the solution for everyone. I don't think journaling is the solution for everyone.
Right.
I'm often asked to give advice like in like a thing and be like, what are your 3 tips? I'm like, I don't
There
know.
are, yeah,
I don't know
because
who the
it's
person is.
that, and it's very subjective.
Yeah.
When I was inpatient, we have to meditate. Screw that. I hear every noise when you're trying to get me to
Meditation
meditate.
works for a lot of people.
Yeah, and for some people it doesn't. So for you to tell me to go meditate, I tell you to go fuck yourself because I know that doesn't work for me, where it might work for the other 5 people in the group.
Right.
So it's almost like you have to like kind of help them find what works for them and incorporate that.
So coaching's cool because I'm able to do that. I'm able to be like, what works for you? That's my job essentially. But some people don't want to be guided that way. It really, I can't pitch it as a solution. I really love it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Don't tell anyone.
But I don't know that that's a good question too.
You mentioned you have a new song coming out in 2020. Can you tease a little bit about it? Can you talk about it? What went into writing it?
Yeah, so I'm so excited about it. We just recorded a music video for it. It'll be the first ever music video. We're releasing the song via music video. We're currently pitching it around to publications to release it for us, which is cool. It was a 14-hour shoot day for me.
Wow.
The song is about me growing up gay in church. Country music has all those church songs.
You might. Hey, you know what? I am on you with that journey, my friend.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be a cool moment. I'm so excited about the music video. We have some awesome backing. The Trevor Project, GLAD, Scott Rudin.
Wow, that's fantastic.
People who are like supporting our message. So that's cool. And right now it's just about making sure it gets in the right hands because there's people who need to hear this. And
100,000 million%.
Yeah, so we're currently I actually have a meeting after this where I'm going to brainstorm.
You want to show them this interview? Do you feel with this song that it's going to anger some, but yet introduce an important conversation that needs to be had?
Maybe. It might anger some people, but I can't. It's so repetitive, but I'm not.
Yeah. I'll edit all that. No, I'm teasing.
But I'm
no
not
editing.
going to be pitching it as the answer.
Right.
It's just a story song. It's a song about my story.
Well, that's what
if it
music
doesn't
is.
Like you,
That's what. Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't like you, if you don't like it,
Right.
fine. Then it's not your story. But like some people are gonna be like, oh, I have the same story, and it's gonna be a really cool experience.
Absolutely. That's the thing about music. Everybody doesn't have to relate to it, but the people who do relate to it see a light at the end of a tunnel.
Yeah.
Who were some of those people for you when you were growing up? Did you have artists that inspired that feeling of confidence in you? Whether it be music, acting.
Well, I was always a big American Idol fan.
Chris Allen for life.
Yeah. Not really. I mean, I didn't really have like many LGBTQ persons that I looked up to. I somehow was like shadowed from all that, which is another thing. I was like, am I the only one in the media who's like being pegged as this?
Yeah.
Obviously, I've been taught over time that like I didn't even know about Will and Grace when I was growing up. I don't know how.
Oh my God, where did you live, in a basement shackled to
I
a wall?
No. So it's just like when I engaged in gay culture for the first time when I came out, it was like a culture shock. I was like, oh, okay. I had a lot to learn and a lot to learn quickly, and yeah.
Do you think that the times have changed where you don't have to be so schlocky and shticky? Like Will and Grace was like, Jack was obviously the effeminate one, Will was the one that was, but like today, like shows like Schitt's Creek, it's not a thing. He's David. Like that's it.
Yeah.
They don't make a big deal about it.
That's
And when they did address it, they addressed it very vanilla. And I don't mean vanilla like they shied away from it. I mean, they just offered an explanation and that was it. And people don't ever question if he's gay. Like, it's just who he is.
Yeah. I agree that that's a great way for things to be going, yes.
Yeah. And finally, what do you want in 2020 after the release of this song? Like, what are things you're going to be working towards?
Well, I'm actually going to be spending some time in Nashville for my first time, like, as an artist.
Wow.
I've been there professionally when I worked at the radio station.
Yeah.
But I'm going for, like, 2 months just to write, so that'll be awesome.
Are you going to be one of those people that, like, locks themselves away and just focuses 100% on the writing?
I do that
Because some
every
people,
winter,
you do that,
actually,
wow.
Yeah. I usually go to LA every winter and I write. This year I'm switching it up. I'm going to Nashville.
It's still cold down there, though. You're not going to...
I'm going a little later.
Okay.
I'm going at the end of February and I'm spending like a little bit of the spring there. But I'll have this music video then in my back pocket. Actually, it will already be on the table. But so I'm actually kind of hoping that Nashville will be a cool experience with this music video behind my name.
Do you feel also a pressure today because artists feel like they have to, speaking as someone who's not an artist, but I feel like the constant barrage of Instagram and social media, like new content has to be put out constantly for you to get your fans engaged and to get your fans to stay pumped for you. Do you feel that pressure nowadays that people probably didn't feel back when social media wasn't even a thing?
I definitely relate to that pressure and I've definitely felt it. I'm a little over it. I'm just more strategic these days.
Yeah.
For example, that concert that I had Tuesday was my only gig this fall because I knew that I was working on a music video and I knew that I wrote a short film that I'm currently filming and there's just like a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on and honestly I'm one person and I'm coaching a roster of clients and I need to take care of myself and so no, I just
It's a lot. You're being pulled in 1,000 different directions.
Yeah, I just don't care anymore. I honestly don't. It's just I'm gonna be better quality work if I'm taking care of myself.
Right.
And I have friends who are gigging like every week and no one's coming to their shows. I'm like, why are you doing that? Why wouldn't you just have like one gig that you like care about and then you invest time in and you know what I mean? It's just I'm taking a different approach. I feel like I definitely get that pressure to put things out. I'm just choosing not to care.
That's a good way because I think that adds just such an extra layer of something that a performer doesn't need. They already have their own insecurities, their own baggage, everything that comes with it. Then to have to constantly be forced like, oh my God, I'm not good enough because I'm not putting enough out there. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't wear this outfit and now people are like, oh, I don't like her style or his style.
And it goes in waves. I'll have a week where I'm like posting every day because there's so much going on and then I'll have like 3 weeks where no one hears from me and I'm like, sorry, I was busy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think people have become so obsessed with social media that it's not even a representation of real life anymore sometimes.
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
From an artist standpoint, I understand social media and why we need it nowadays, but from a mental health standpoint,
It's a terrible thing.
completely against social media.
Absolutely, especially in this political climate. I mean, people are just destroyed, myself included. destroying relationships with people because of being on one side or the other, and it's just like, how have I known you my whole life? And this, like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a big double-edged sword where you have to kind of use it sometimes, but on the other edge of that sword, it's harming you.
For sure.
Cool. Well, I look forward to hearing all new stuff in 2020, your
Yeah.
new song. I can't wait to hear it. And hopefully there'll be some more exciting news after that. If anybody wants to link up with Brian, all his information
All that
is
social media.
all the social media that we hate is linked in this interview,
Great.
but also his website where you can look into getting life coaching and
Always looking to meet new people.
yeah.
Awesome.
There you go. And you get a discount if you mention this interview. No, I'm
Sure.
no. We're kidding. You don't. Just pay full price. He needs to eat. Thank you so much, Brian.